Progressive Examiner today talking with Papa Muse. He's the author of the song Rocking of the Throne. Papa Muse, thank you for joining me.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here, Vic.
First, let me ask you if you've ever written a specifically political song like this before.
You know, I really hadn't. I had attempted to write one other song with similar content, and I did finish that song, but I never produced it or recorded it. This song appealed to me more. This song has more of an Americana country type of a flavor to it that I thought would be better received. So I may do something with the other one at some point. But no, in fact, I've tried to stay away from politics when it comes to my music. I wanted to be nonpartisan and reach as many people as I can with the message of self-empowerment and other types of things.
So why is it this time? Why did you make an exception and write this song that's really about this revolution?
Well, that's an excellent question. And, you know, I still hope I made the right choice in doing that. You know, I don't want to pick sides, so to speak, but sometimes you need to. And I feel like right now the message needs to be heard, and we have somebody running who's putting that message forward, that we no longer have a democracy, and that our voice is not being heard and our concerns are not being addressed by the political climate that we have today. It's just not a democracy anymore.
So if it's not a democracy, then how would you define it?
Well, I guess it's been defined as an oligarchy or plurocracy. Basically what's going on is that in order to run for president these days or make it into higher government, one needs to be extremely wealthy or have extremely wealthy donors. And that is totally illegal. We pretty much, as far as I know, we have the only country in the world where bribery is legal. The lobbyists literally write the laws for the politicians to sign. And the lobbyists, of course, are working for the corporations. It's gotten to the point where we kind of think we have a democracy, but in fact, all the parties work the same way. You know, I'm not saying there aren't differences. I do believe there are differences between the parties on social issues and things like that. But primarily the corporations, the wealthiest people, want to protect their own interests, and they contribute to both parties. You know, they support both parties, and that's where it's gotten.
And are there any salient issues, any particularly important issues to you as to why you wrote the song and why you're supporting Bernie Sanders this way?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Bernie Sanders has been working on these issues consistently for 40 years. And I'm not looking to badmouth any of his opponents in the race or anything like that. It's just not my style. I think there are good things about his components as well, but he's the only one who doesn't flip-flop on issues just to get elected. And that's what I see from other candidates, is they'll say whatever they need to at the moment, but the proof is in the pudding. You got to go back to people's records. The reason I wrote this song was because I feel like what Bernie Sanders is doing is he's representing something bigger than himself. This isn't about Bernie Sanders trying to get elected because he's trying to put a trophy on his shelf or achieve something on his own. What he's doing for all of us. I truly believe that. And I think a lot of people believe that. He has integrity, and he has 40 years proving and backing that up, that he's fighting that fight. Now, this song is not specifically about Bernie Sanders. This song is about that movement. This song is about reclaiming our democracy. This song is about being a patriot, but not being afraid to stand up to the status quo. You know, not being afraid to have a voice and make a difference. This video was done in a very do-it-yourself way. I just filmed it in my parents' garage with very little, and there's mistakes and everything else, but you know, that's a good thing in my mind, because it gives people the understanding that they can have a voice and they can do that kind of thing as well.
So do you think he's going to secure the nomination?
I don't know. I will say he has surprised a lot of people, and 6 months ago nobody would have thought that he would have come this far. And I think he's doing really well. And you know, that's a very I'm not astute enough to see the future, but I will say this: regardless of the outcome, he's putting the message forward, and he's putting pressure on his opponent, on Hillary Clinton. She needs to address these concerns of inequality through income. She needs to address these just to compete with him, because she sees how effective it has been for him. The most important issue to me is really a non-political one. It's more about health, and that's the environment. And I feel like aside from getting money out of politics, Bernie Sanders is a true a hero in that respect. He really wants to do things to drastically protect our environment. I'm working on a campaign called the Plastic Free Challenge, because plastic is owned by the oil companies. Plastic is made with oil, and they've gotten to the point where everything we buy is in plastic, and it actually is it never biodegrades, and it actually is toxic. So we have an event called the Plastic Free Challenge, which is plasticfreechallenge.org, where we're educating people about that. So I'm doing all this environmental stuff. The political stuff is I decided to get involved a little bit with that, because I believe Bernie Sanders is the only one who will stop the multinational corporations and the big oil interests and things like that. I think that he cares more about the needs of the people than the needs of the corporations.
All right. Papa Muse, thanks for joining me. Appreciate your time.